wonderful. This is amazing. This is absolutely inspiring. Ladies and gentlemen, there are certain people in this world, in this kinky world that we go through, that there are kinky people you meet that make us continue. Not make us, but inspire us. Let's put it that way. Inspire us to continue. Sometimes, sometimes we're having. But inspire us. Oh no! What is going on? It wouldn't be a Your Kinky Friend show if there wasn't a technical aspect. And that's symbolic of everything that we do. Please welcome one of the first people I have interviewed for the show. Every person that she introduced me to, every conversation I've ever had with this woman has made me feel better about myself and made me want to go out in life and be a better person. A very kinky person too. Please, give thanks to this magnificent woman, Sera Miles from PEPLove. Say hello, Sera.
Yeah.
How are you? What's going on?
I am fucking fantastic, and I'm so thrilled to be here, and thank you for having me, and always introducing me in ways that make me blush and feel more committed to doing the good work.
This is a very, very special episode of whatever the hell this is.
It feels special to me, too. Yeah.
But you have news, though. And is it heartbreaking news or is it inspiring news? What is it? What's going on, Sera?
Well, after over 21 years of doing phone sex calls, I'm hanging up my phone at midnight on October 1st, and I will no longer be doing phone sex.
I'm going to miss you.
But I will still own PEP.
Yes.
I will still operate and steward PEP. I just won't be available to talk one-on-one.
Well, let's talk about PEP because, you're doing phone sex. Some people are like, oh, well, so what? This is different. You're not just a phone sex person. You have like a crew of women, of beautiful, intelligent women who are doing their own thing, who are sexually free, expressive, creative, artistic, and very positive, and who will help people through this. And you own and run this business, PEPLove, which is amazing. So, okay. First of all, why retire?
After over 21 years, to some degree, I'm just done. You know, there are other things I want to do in my life. I turned 47 at the end of July, and I feel like I have a team in place at PEP of the most fantastic, capable, I'm not thinking of the words I want, but like, these are the women. I know that everyone who's ever spoken with me is going to be taken care of by the team that we have. We also very fortunately have had some great people work with us who didn't want to do this long term, but will come back and guest star periodically. So dream team upon dream team upon dream team is ready, which means that I get to open a door into other things like writing my poems. I want to do a lot of relationship coaching and education, and I want to do some artsy stuff too.
That's awesome. That's one thing I love about when I started this, and when I talked to you, I immediately felt it. Like felt this. You have this fire. I call it the light. You know, where it's, you like the sun, so to speak. You kind of create life and create ideas and inspire people, and that's what you do. So you're an artist at heart. You're a muse. That's what I think.
I am a bit of a muse.
Yeah.
I am. In the last year, I found love. My girlfriend is an amazing artist, and they have done a series of paintings of my feet, as well as a couple of things, where we were like out, and I was like, oh, that would be great to photograph and make an image of. So my girlfriend had a show at the Albuquerque Press Club this summer. Great show, great space, and my best friend came in, and she looks around and she goes, so, what's it like to be the muse?
You are the muse.
I was like, I'm pretty happy to be the muse.
You are a muse. You have inspired me. To. I went through a liver transplant. I've been through deaths. I've been through a lot of sadness in life, and you have inspired me to keep going
I'm
and
so
to keep going to keep kinky, and all of your ladies. Seriously, just the friendships alone with all of them. Oh wait, we're getting some station. There's some technical difficulties. What is going on?
Sarah has changed my life. Is that she gave me an opportunity. She gave me a chance when a lot of people wouldn't. Prior to working for PEP, I did feel like I was really floundering in sex work. I'd been doing sex work for about 3 years in different capacities before I worked for PEP. And since I started there, and since I've had Sarah's guidance and her expertise, I feel like I've really achieved a lot. She not only helped me build the skills necessary to succeed in sex work, she also helped me build the confidence. Because I don't think I would have been able to achieve what I have if it wasn't for her and her guidance. I am really happy for Sarah that she is able to make this next chapter of her life, and I'm really excited for her, and also just ever so grateful for everything she's given me. So, thank you, Sera.
My God.
I don't understand. I'm trying to do a show here, and the ladies are keep on interrupting. There's always technical problems on this show. I'm really sorry. Okay, let's go on.
Right before we got on, I thought, should I move my tissues over here? It was a fleeting thought. And I was like, that's silly. I took a Claritin, but I might have to get them at some point.
Okay. So tell us about. Okay. Tell us the PEPLove story. How did you get involved with PEPLove? Because you weren't like you didn't just wake up with the idea and be like, I'm going to start a phone sex empire.
No.
What did you?
PEP already existed.
Yes.
Yes. I came to PEP in 2002. I was living in Maryland where I grew up. I was coming out here to New Mexico for graduate school. I had for about a year and a half apprenticed with a fetish filmmaker and professional disciplinarian in Staten Island, as well as with a pro dom in Baltimore. So coming out to New Mexico for graduate school in creative writing, I wanted to, had the money I had I had a teaching assistantship. Those don't pay well. So I wanted to have a life by doing sex work. So I was looking for people I could apprentice with, I could work with, kind of like I had back east. And I stumbled upon PEP. And this is the web in 2001, 2002. Like, you're finding things in a very different way than you are these days. So I find these websites and I call. And I ended up talking to the owner and founder, and I started doing calls with PEP in kind of September of 2002. And I took a little time off to finish my degree. And then I looked at teaching prospects and other kinds of employment. And I was just like, this is a fucking scam. Like, I'm not going to work someplace 60 hours a week so they can pay me the same amount no matter what I did. When, sex work changes you in a lot of ways, a myriad of ways. But one of the ways it can really shift your positionality in capitalism is you look at things and you're like, but if I work this much, I should get more. And so I decided to stay doing sex work and threw myself into it full time. At the end of, I want to say early 2012, the owner approached me about taking over and owning the company. So that took a couple of years to put in place. But from the end of 2012 till now, I have essentially operated PEP, managed PEP, led PEP, and I took over formally at the end of 2015 when I incorporated my own company, Sera Miles and Beyond Inc., that does business as PEP.
So, the lovely Amy Mercury, who interrupted our broadcast.
That was amazing. I was fucking floored.
I met you through her.
Yes, I was thinking about that today.
And Amy Mercury has always been a magnificent creative force, an inspiration in my life as well. Orc Girl, her graphic novel, is something amazing. Dr. Clockwork does have some interesting equipment. Overall wonderful person.
He built our website.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he and I have known each other almost 15 years. And then I met Amy through him.
Oh,
and it's been a happy family. Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful people. Now, speaking of the ladies, what do you do to look for a PEPLove lady? I mean, because it's not what you do for people who don't know. It's not just phone sex. It's not just hi. What are you wearing? I'm cleaning the house in my French maid outfit. Please tell me what I did wrong.
Ours is more like you're going to wear a French maid outfit,
Damn right.
latex, and there's going to be something up your butt, and you're going to clean the house, and all my friends are allowed to do whatever they want to you.
That describes my last weekend.
Lucky you.
I know I'm a very lucky person. So
Yeah.
so what it take? What does it take? Because I know all the PEPLove ladies. I really do. They're all unique in themselves. It's not. They're not
They
just. There's not
are.
just a PEPLove lady. There's. It's.
Yeah.
The thing that I think connects them all is that first of all they're all intelligent and they're all. I mean, they're all beautiful people, of course. They're all beautiful looking people, but there is this energy and this fire to them. This that embraces sexual expression, which is something I'm very much. So, how do you find people like that? How do you find all these ladies?
Sometimes through luck or through knowing somebody else, like Dr. Clockwork, and then I got to have Amy Mercury. We found Giselle, Goddess Giselle, who's our #1 top earner, and with my retirement, about to become the longest running pep lady.
I
We
love
found her at DomCon LA. We went back to DomCon a couple more times. We met some great people, but I think, that was the fortuitous DomCon for us. Past that, we advertise on social media. We try to put out feelers, friends of friends. And some of the things that I know now, running PEP for over a decade and owning PEP for almost 8 years, is that what makes a PEP lady in a lot of ways is she's super self-possessed. She has a lot of varied interests. She's very, very alive, and so when people call, they feel that. And they feel that this is a person who maybe she's super into making you suck cock. Maybe she's got a fetish for having a sissy maid. She's got all that stuff. And she's real down to earth too. Like she knows someone has to take out the trash. Someone has to cut the vegetables. Like there's real life to be had. And she's so interested in the world. And I think that's part of how we help our clients not, beyond the phone sex interaction, is they feel more engaged with the world at large after being touched. Like I feel like this sounds corny, but it's true. After
it.
being touched by one of us who is so effervescent and curious.
That's
Pep ladies are curious about other people. And I mean, these are women who do things like, I'm going to grow a poison garden. Just, Reba once, we were having drinks after a photo shoot, and she was like, anything I see, the first thing I think is, can I make that? Whether it's food or clothing, and I was like, that's what makes you interesting, because that's the first thing your brain does. And, people, I think life is hard. I think there are so many pressures. I think there are so many ways that the culture that we live in, the larger culture, tries to deaden us so that we are kind of just shells operating for
Mhm.
these fucking, capitalistic edgelords and all this bullshit and
Yeah,
not thinking and not questioning. And when you come to PEP, you're going to meet people who are like, how do you make that? How does that happen? Isn't this interesting? Tell me.
yeah.
I want to know.
And I think that attitude has just helped me get through the regular problems of everyday life. Especially the big problems. Oh wait,
Yeah.
there's something. Wait, we're having more technical
My
issues.
life. Sarah Miles has changed my life by modeling how to be the excellent balance of a businesswoman and also humanizing both clientele and all of her employees and people that she works with. It's a rare balance to strike, and it's truly inspiring and makes me feel safe at work for the first time in my life. So thank you. And I didn't expect to get emotional and cry out during this, but thank you so much for being you. Feeling safe at work has given me the space to do a lot of healing, introspection, and zoom out a little instead of just going day by day. By doing so, I realized that
In the 7 years I've been self-employed, I have never had a business plan or strategy. I kind of just came into the industry and was like, oh, there's a job. Okay. And didn't really like plan ahead. For the last few months, I have been thinking about what I want from my business and my work and my life. I have been doing lots of steady research on how to create an effective long-term business strategy. I love working for PEP, and I plan on working for PEP for as long as you'll have me. I'm very grateful and excited to be a better businesswoman and kick some ass, just like Sarah Miles.
Oh my gosh.
Pep ladies are unruly. I'm trying to do a show. I really am.
They are unruly in the best ways.
Keep on. Okay. I know, but it's good. I welcome their station interruption, their identity. They're interrupting my broadcast.
Me too.
To do this, but okay, we have work to do. Stan Vladimir asks, what's the next chapter for your life?
So in October, I just want to party.
Nice.
I'm just going to party in October. I mean, I have to do some work, but I plan to have some fun. And I'm going to see some family of choice and relatives in November. And then from December on, there's 2 projects I'm going to be working on. My second company, Becoming Education, Connection, and Support. The acronym we use is BECS. And the idea behind BECS is it's a vehicle for me to do some of the things I love: relationship coaching, teaching about polyamory, teaching about sexual trauma, and also for me to be able to platform other sex workers as educators and consultants. I do a little bit of that too, talking with social workers or graduate students about how to create a better environment for sex worker clientele. So I'll be growing BECS. And I will also be opening my Soft Corner Studio Center, which is going to be kind of an artsy community center. We'll have workshops on painting, drawing, writing, nights of monologues. This is the kind of labor of love that will grow slowly. And in my vision, be a place where people can come to safely explore, express themselves. Like, one of the things I'm most excited to do is have, like, twice a month on Sundays, a generative session where people donate basically to offset my costs, so I can provide some food and coffee and water and whatnot. And donation basis, you come in, you have a little time to have a coffee, a snack, and visit. We take maybe 75 minutes to work individually on whatever we're working on. It can be academic, it can be artistic, it can be that you want to read quietly, and seriously. And then we come back together and we talk and we share. Like, I've had this idea for so long, Nick, and I'm so fucking excited that I get to do it. This is the kind of stuff you get to do, right? When you I can't always believe that I'm at this place in my life, but I'm at a place in my life where I can do that and be like, I can really make that happen because it's something I want to see in the world. And I literally have the resources to do it. Just pitch me $5 or $10 so I can keep the coffee and the snacks going. Right? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the fuel.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love it, because especially the more I go through life, and every trauma that I have, or everything, it seems like it never ends. It's art and creativity that gets me going, that keeps me going. You know what I mean? And you see,
I want to make a thing.
Yeah. I want to make a thing. It's simple as that. So, I promise that, you see. So Vivian, our friend Vivian, she wrote a little thing to you about you.
I got I got glitter in my eyes from crying when Alex and Amy were on. Okay, ready.
Well, Vivian, at Saturday, September 9th, 4 p.m. Eastern, which is probably my time, Eastern time. Well, yeah, it is my time. It doesn't say Eastern. I said Eastern. 22 hours ago. When Sera walks into a room, her presence takes up every inch of space. Sera is the epitome of grace, beauty, and confidence. Getting to know her and work with her has been incredible. Although I've only known Sera for a short time, she has taught me so much about strength, confidence and authenticity. I'm so excited for this next phase of our life and so grateful to be a part of PEPLove. Thank you very much for everything you do, Sera. Sera, here's to retirement, Vivian. Oh, it's sunshine. When you talk about PEPLove, you talk about connection, sexually and non-sexually. It's one of maybe the most important part of being human. That's it, connection.
Great. Yeah.
Pep Connections. That's a
Yeah.
way to get in touch with PEPLove.
Yep.
What is your Twitter handle? You have a very unique Twitter handle.
Pep Connections. Yeah. So the original company name is just PEP. It stands for People Exchanging Power, PEP. And PEP was originally a series of support groups that the founder did all over the country in the late 80s, which was huge. I mean, novel. I mean, things like this barely existed. Society of Janus and Eulenspiegel Society are founded in the early 70s on opposite coasts. By the mid 80s, you're still like advertising in newspapers, begging people to let you hold something in their space, getting kicked out because they don't want kinky people there. So the person who founded PEP founded it first as a series of support groups. And in the late 80s, after spending a lot of her own time and money and emotional energy on helping people, had a friend say to her, you need to charge the men who call when they call to talk about, why am I like this? Why do I like feet? Why am I submissive? Because this is how you are going to make an income.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then when she branded the company, eventually the URL for the website in 1996 became PEPLove. And we've stuck with that. But when I took over, I wanted to just barely rebrand, because I think PEP has a great identity as PEP Connections, to underscore that in addition to phone calls these days, we do erotic emailing, we do sexting, we sell photos, we sell audio files. So PEP Connections better encompasses that shift in the ways that we can connect with you that are discreet and private and personalized and customized.
That makes me think of the question of what is next. Some people, AI doming, or AI phone sex. I get robocalls every day. Check out Telemarketers on HBO, that documentary which takes place in New Jersey, which is in New Jersey.
Oh, damn.
People I actually know, unfortunately. But it's the way of kind of upping the level of kink. Like you said, you started doing emails and vocal sessions and recordings of sessions and all. What do you see? What would you like to see? Like, maybe we don't have the technology or the capability or the resources to do it, but what would you like to see?
So on AI, I had this amazing opportunity this year to do some writing and voiceovers for an AI platform that's coming out. It's both an interactive video game and a platform that will have people, sex workers, using AI characters to interact, like camming. I'm not sure, if they'll call it camming at the end of the day. And I was thrilled to work with these folks. I've worked with them before on the video game, computer game Bone Town and Bonecraft. And I think that's definitely a thing that will happen, because these guys, when they looked at doing their platform, literally went, I so appreciate this, and talked to women who work on cam extensively, and found out that one of the things that gets tiring, that makes people want to eventually leave the industry, is the physical exertion being on cam.
Oh,
So
cool.
we know this in the strip club, we know this in the peep show, but the same thing is on cam. Your body gets worn out. And so being able to use some kind of AI interface is going to, I think, lengthen the careers of many sex workers who are dedicated, who want to be able to provide a variety of services. It will give them another avenue. And I think for younger folks, they're going to enjoy that. That's normalized to them.
And I also think that I look at it this way. It's a tool for your imagination. Think about it. Who knows where it can go? Who knows what we could do here? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Think about the person who made the first dildo. They're like, oh, what else can we?
It feels so good. Like it was so fun to work on this game. It's called Erotic Heroes, because the user is in the game and nobody knows what he's encountering, right? So I'm able to use the knowledge I have from over 2 decades in sex work of knowing what a lot of men want to talk about that they don't talk about with their friends, that's
Hmm.
not in Playboy, and being able to lay that stuff in the game and knowing that people are going to have an experience of feeling secure playing out the fetishes that they're often ashamed of. That's also positive. But I also think that the stuff we do at PEP and the stuff that's real one on one and personalized is not going to change.
Yeah. Well, that's
It's that
another thing.
connection.
Even when I'm calling the ladies at PEP to schedule interviews, you could just tell. I deal with sex workers all the time. I deal with especially dominatrixes. I'm just friends with them. I really am. I'm not even clients or
You're a lucky
customers.
man.
I'm very lucky. I'm incredibly lucky. I'm very thankful. Um, but the thing is that the ladies at PEP are genuinely interested, or just generally like they want everything. They want a good time. They're not doing it for money necessarily. Of course, they're doing it for money, but it's
We all
not.
want the money, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
they would
not
do
the deal
something
on
else
that.
if they didn't want to do this.
Of course, yeah. And
Yeah.
that really makes a difference. And of course, it wouldn't be a typical interview with Nicholas Tanek if I didn't get a question like this. Shahid Kapoor, Sera, have you ever trampled the male? The male.
I
So
feel like I feel like in my early days I did like one trampling session.
well,
Um, I can't really remember it that well. I remember it because I remember feeling nervous.
you were nervous to trample, huh?
Yeah, I was
What,
like 26, you
were
know?
you nervous because it was like a new thing, or were you like scared that you'd hurt the person?
Yeah, I didn't know the lines. Like I didn't have the sense I have now of how to ask the right questions and how to make the connection. I just wanted
Yeah.
to do it right, but not hurt him, but not fall, but not embarrass myself.
So okay, speaking of embarrassing things, I asked you this before, but what was your very first call like?
My very, very first call was before I officially worked for the service. And it was with a friend of the then owners who had seen a picture of me with the then executive director and said, "Who's that? Can I talk to her?" So the call was kind of sent to me. And he was a dominant man who wanted me to do lots of things to myself and react and whatnot. And I did. And then he called the then owner and was like, "That was one of the best pep calls I've ever had." So we talked a couple more times. And then I came on board, and he and I talked up until we haven't done a call in about a year. I'm hoping he'll call before I retire because he was my first call, right? So I'm always like, it's our anniversary. But eventually I hit a point where I didn't want to do submissive calls anymore. And I couldn't. It wasn't just I don't want to, it was I couldn't. I felt
Yeah.
silly. Like I changed as a person and I was like, I can't do this. So a few years ago I said to this gentleman, I can't do this anymore. And here's what I can do. We can create a story together and put some, unassuming young women in some, tantalizing situations. And he was so gracious and just went with it. And we've had great calls since then.
Stan Vladimir, our very good friend Stan Vladimir says, "What is the
Oh,
biggest
cool.
misconception for sex workers and how we normalize it? Where can it be viewed as normal job, like going to get a massage?"
That is such a big question, the biggest misconception. I'm going to say that the biggest misconception problem is that people think they can speak for us, that we don't have to be in the room, that simply by knowing that sex work exists, they have an informed opinion. Whereas the experiences of sex workers are so varied. And the
Yeah.
lines between survival sex work, and what we call trafficking are sometimes more blurry than anyone wants to acknowledge outside of us. We acknowledge it, you
Mhm.
know, but that's huge. And that we are voiceless when really we are very talkative people generally.
Oh, we gab. Shout out to Nico Noir in our new
Yeah.
show coming up. Stay tuned to that. And
And the
Stan Vladimir.
first step to making things better would be to decriminalize. Everything
Yes.
has to, once it's decriminalized, we can have some more real conversations. But, if I'm at risk for being arrested, just if I go talk about the fact that I have done full service sex work, that makes it impossible for the impression in the country to change. That said, conversation changing activism work is effective.
Without a
I
doubt.
always feel like if people meet me, hopefully then they will interrupt the hooker joke. They will say something. And ideally, then, if something is eventually on a ballot to decriminalize in their city, they will feel compelled to vote for that because of their interaction with me or another sex worker.
I could not agree with you more. And that's what we're doing, basically. Like you and I right now, we're helping with the
Yeah.
decriminalization of it. Just because we are human beings, everyone out there. And look at all of these people you support. I mean, there's all these people, and I can't, oh my God, what is going on?
Hi, Sarah. Forgive the messy look, just came in from the desert. But I wanted to say thank you. The day that you hired me was probably one of the best days. You've reconfirmed that there are bosses out there that are really good at being a boss. And the fact that you are just patient and caring, not only about our clients at PEP, but the people who work for you. You stood by me through a lot of stuff over the last couple of years. And I appreciate it so much. And I appreciate you. And as I tell our clients, you're not leaving, which is good because you can't leave us. You just can't. I'm sorry. You're integral and you are necessary and you are wanted and you are loved. And I'm so glad that last year I made it to PepCon because meeting you in person, it was great. You have been such a positive experience. You have sparked the creativity in me again that I thought was gone. You've encouraged so many things that I've looked at and went, eh. You've given me the push when I needed it, because let's face it, every now and then everybody needs a little push from somebody other than themselves. So what can I say other than thank you? Sincerely. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you. I appreciate the things that you do and the person that you are. So, all right, before I get too mushy and I start to cry, I mean, okay, I'm not wearing makeup, so it doesn't really matter if I cry or not, but I am so happy to be a part of PEP and to know you and to call you not only my boss, but my friend. So, thank you.
So, I am just going to give in to these pep ladies who just keep on interrupting my show. I think it's for the best, don't you think?
I think they all have valuable things to say all the time.
I think we should listen. I think it's very important to listen to these people. They make their living on the phone talking. I think it's important. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a way. So, okay, well, let's talk about communications, and connections, and platformings. It's like the Wild West out there these days. People are being deplatformed. You never know. This is on YouTube, but it's not going to be on forever. You know what I mean? Twitter's now X. Who knows? Instagram, Threads. Who knows? There's just going to be another thing. Things go away. So, what are you using today? How are you making connections today? How are you keeping the fire, the message going? How are you keeping the
I
message going?
decided. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. How you decided? How are you keeping this? How are you keeping the fire burning, so to speak? In other words.
PEP is fortunate in that we've been around for so long that a lot of our clientele goes back to the 90s. So they'll watch for us and they'll follow us, right? The real issue for us is in getting new people and making sure people who might want our services know that we exist. So I looked at all of the possible newsletter platforms over and over and over again, and I settled on Ghost because Ghost does not take off, does not censor adult. You can't use the payment processor because it's Square. And that's that. I get that Ghost doesn't have its own bank. But the Ghost platform, as long as your content is not paywalled, you can put up your adult content. So I've been using that for a few months to send a newsletter out. And I would love if people signed up. It's pepnews.ghost.io. It's all over our X and on our website. and on my ex and whatnot. So we're building that and hopefully going to build a bigger and bigger audience so that people are getting that, even if X falls apart or decides that adult can't be on it, et cetera, all that stuff. I'm hoping that will last. And past that, my impression, and from what I've read, is that we are going to be moving away from being as reliant on the social media platforms as a whole
Mhm.
and be more reliant on content creation platforms. So I would expect that more, Substacks, Patreons, things like that are going to be coming down the pike, and they're going to have to be able to shift for the way that the world is shifting, where people want to follow you or this organization more so than they want to scroll Facebook to look at what their friends had for lunch. Which, don't get me wrong, like that can be good, but I think we're all getting tired of that.
I agree. And plus, it's also good to be a part of something. Be a, you know what I mean? So it's like you're one of the cool kids to be to be in the know. So that makes things interesting. Okay. Good morning, goddess. Please accept. I bow down virtually, says Mohit.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So okay. All right. One of the things that I'm sure you get a lot of calls is the sissification aspect of
Yeah.
I want to, turn me into a woman or peg me or lock me in chastity, stuff like that. Now,
Yeah.
as someone who I personally enjoy that fetish myself, but keep in mind, I understand very well that it's role play, that it's, I'm also a feminist at heart. I really am. And so how can people explore this fetish without, I'm not saying anything's taboo or anything like that, but I'm saying
Right.
what is a way to explore the fetish without degradation or humiliation?
Oh, well, that to me is just a matter of discussion and consent negotiation. If the
Okay.
person who wants to do it says, I want to do it, but I don't want to be degraded or humiliated, then we're going to make you into a pretty sissy, and we're going to enjoy what a pretty sissy you are, and we're going to celebrate you. I mean, we know that a big reason a lot of cis men have fantasies and desires to be feminized or sissified, etc., is that cis men aren't taught that they are allowed to be doted upon with
Mhm.
erotic attention, that they are not supposed to be the center of like the desired body in the room. So who's allowed to do that? Well, women aren't really allowed to do that. Women are expected to do that. So this is a fucked up, clusterfuck of gender
Yeah.
politics and oppression, right? But that means that all of us grow up internalizing this shit. And one of the ways that we process the bullshit is through our fetishes and fantasies. And so I feel very accepting, and I speak for the ladies of PEP. I think this is PEP philosophy. We don't judge your kink. We stay curious, we remain
Yeah.
curious. And there are certain times where it's just not something one of us can do. And that often means it's not something we can do well. So we don't want you to waste your money and time when we don't think we can give you at least a B plus experience that will get to an A when we get to know you better. If we really feel like we can't meet you where you're at, we're going to be honest. But past that, people are into what they're into for such diverse, private, and societal reasons. No judgment. Let's explore.
Sunshine says, I love making my sissy feel pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so how has the idea of, by being a woman and having women in the phone sex and many times the dominant role, right, in the role play scenario, has your opinion of the sissification fetish changed throughout time?
No,
Yeah.
it hasn't. I remember when I was getting involved in the leather community locally, we had a big brouhaha because somebody at a contest asked one of the contestants how their fetish for sissification wasn't just degrading women, and it got really and it had never occurred to me. I had done sex work at that point for like 10 years, and I was like, what? I mean, there's a degree to which, sure. I mean, we know there's some root stuff there, but don't we all know that? Don't we all know that part of why men get these fantasies is because it's how they're processing the stress of watching women be degraded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I
interesting.
do
So,
think it is healthy. It is more funner. if everybody in the encounter, whether it's professional or personal, knows what we're working with and is interested and introspective about why this turns us on.
Yeah.
But it still turns us on.
It
It's
still
not going to
does.
stop.
No, but it's I over philosophize like, why do I like this? What's the meaning behind it? What is the symbol? What does the garter symbolize? You know, it's like I way overthink it, but then it's
That
also
can be
like,
fun to think about too. It
yeah,
can enhance the experience.
just look at it and feel it. That's it.
Just,
You know,
it's still going to get you off, and we all deserve to have good orgasms.
that's your quote. We all deserve to have good orgasm. Sarah Miles.
That's right.
So okay, let's talk about good orgasms. All right, I'm gonna get personal. When it comes to all this kink, you're surrounded, just like me, surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Surrounded. The kink rabbit hole goes deep. I'm turned on by stuff I never knew. I never thought in a million years I'd be turned on. Right. So what? You inspire all these people. What's inspiring you?
What really gets me off, what gives me good orgasms?
Yeah.
I am super into blood play, cutting, knives, sharps.
Really?
That's kind of really where I've been at for several years now. Spanking was my first kink. I still love it. I love any kind of power exchange, role play. I think, it's hard to say like a favorite role play. I want something a little farcical almost.
Oh, yeah.
So that we're wink, wink, nudge, nudging. We know that we're being ridiculous. It's out of this world. There's a demon. Like, yeah. Like, I love that kind of highly fantastical role play these days.
It's out of this world. There's a demon. That was good.
Yes.
So, keeping a sense of humor in one thing, and for example, if I'm wearing a chastity device and like a French maid outfit or something like that, I know I don't look dashing. I know I don't look extremely romantic and extremely, you have to have a sense of humor and a kind of whimsical nature to it. At least for me, I think.
Yes.
But so let's talk about blood play and knives. I was at a dungeon last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't want to mention any names, but wonderful scene. Woman tied up on the cross. It's a negligee, beautiful negligee, and as a cross-dresser, I'm like, oh, that's a nice negligee. And then all of a sudden, the knife comes out, big Crocodile Dundee knife. It's like, do you mind if you never wear this again? Yeah, right off, one shot too. I was like, damn, that's sexy. Next time I'm doming someone, I'm using that move.
Yeah,
getting out
I love that.
Yeah. So, what is it about knives specifically?
If I think back, I've always had a fascination for metal. Like, I can think back to being a kid and like I would see my dad's razor in the bathroom and I think my mom was fortunate in that neither me nor my brother were the kinds of kids who get into things. And I've had the same good fortune as a mother. Like, people are just the kind who get into things and they're not. So I would just look at it, right? And I remember one time I finally put my finger across it and I cut myself.
Oh, yeah.
I was like 9. But anything sharp and pretty metal always attracted me, but I didn't put it anywhere together until I was much older and in the kink community and seeing people do knife play and being like, oh, that's a thing that I can explore more.
And then there's also, I interviewed an author, Master Chris, who he dealt with predicament bondage. So he would tie someone up and have knives certain places, so they couldn't move. And of course, then disclaimer: knife play. Our knives are purposely not sharp, but that way they're safe. This is consent. No, we're not just going around the street just put knives at people to get off on sexually. We're not doing that. This is a consensual thing. I have to make that disclaimer. Yeah. Okay, the Stan asked this question. This is the Stan question. Stan Vladimir asked, if you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it in your kinky life?
I would have the best self-regulation. That's what I would have. Yeah. Because that's really like the root of distress, that we can't regulate within. So if I could self-regulate within to like a superpower degree, then I would have so much more finesse in any scene I did from any side or position.
Do you mean personal discipline?
No, I mean like the ability to not feel distress that panics you. So, if you're
Oh,
really well
okay.
self-regulated, right? So let's say like you're doing a scene and like you whip the cane and you totally hit the wrong spot. Like that's sucks, it's embarrassing, da da da.
Yeah,
But if you're
yeah,
well
right.
self-regulated, you just move forward. You don't get stuck.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Oh,
So awesome in trusting me to be a part of her team. And because of that, I've really rekindled my love of sex work, and I really appreciate her. She's a really awesome person, and it means a lot to me that she would trust me to help take care of her clients after she retires from taking calls. It really means a lot to have her trust in me and to know that I care about them as much as she does, and I want to make sure that they're happy. And I just really appreciate her. Sera's awesome. And thanks so much.
see, these people love you.
This is so great. I adore all of these women so much, and getting to see them, it's like I'm watching it myself emotionally, and then the observer part of me is just delighted that I get to see all of them while I'm talking with you live, and everybody else gets to see these amazing people that I work with.
And Stan says, I love her t-shirt. So let's talk about role play. Role play is an essential part of your call. I want to make a call, and I'm trying to get a crowd fund to everybody. I want to be O in the story of O. So basically, I want the fans of Your Kinky Friends to pay PEPLove to do a call, and I'll broadcast it. I'll say it right now.
Cool.
Either before or after, or we could do a special Patreon to broadcast it, where I am O, a male version of O in the story of O, and I'm sold off from PEPLove to PEPLove lady, and who knows what's going to happen. Yes.
Oh, that is fun.
One call. Let's do that. Let's set that up.
Uh-huh.
And finally, you could be the finale.
I love this idea.
It's all a quest for Sera. Yes.
I mean, I would love if the ladies really had their way with you and you came to me kind of beaten and broken and bruised, and I nursed you back to health only to take you all the way down and break you again, just as a preview.
We have to make this happen.
Yeah.
Come on, people. All right. All right. When it comes to that, so that's a role play scenario. Granted, it's a very elaborate role play scenario, but it's one that can be achieved. Out of all the role play scenarios that you talk to me, I call you up. Hi, I have this role play. Okay. We met you on exactly this date and time, and you're wearing exactly this date. Like, some people get very detailed with their descriptions, and
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like alien abduction porn or stuff like that, So, how do you make improv and just doing things from scratch? So, how do you get into role play mode? What do you do to what are some of the key elements to be a good role player?
I studied theater. So, as a disclaimer, like I came into this already trained in doing improv, literally. And so at my college, even, we did a year-long training on improv where we studied a commedia dell'arte character, and then we created our own kind of commedia style, farcical characters. So for me, the first thing I do is say yes and that's the cardinal rule of improv. Whatever the other character says, you don't say no, you say yes and. So if the character says, I feel like my teeth are falling out, you say, oh, let me take a look. Oh, this one seems a little loose. And I think, I think my bones are gonna pop out. Whatever it is, like that's ridiculous. But that's the farcical shit.
Yeah.
So if a client says, oh no, you found me and you see that I'm wearing your panties, I say, yes, you are, and you're in so much trouble. Yeah.
Yes, you are. You're in so much trouble. Okay. What are what are some questions? All right. We are wrapping up, but there's some more things some more surprises that I have. Stan says, in other words, it's a kinky theater cosplay.
For me,
Okay.
it is.
I'm
Yeah.
always curious. We'll get back to everything, but I'm always curious about what people are listening to, reading, consuming these days. So, rapid fire recommendations. They don't always go rapid fire. Recommend a film.
A film. Oh gosh. My girlfriend and I have been watching a bunch of Devil Demon movies, and we're
Okay.
about to watch Rosemary's Baby because they've
Yeah.
never seen it. So, top of my head, that's fucking problematic, but it's a brilliant film.
Of course. Yeah. The
Yeah.
Pope at Yankee Stadium. Psychic TV did they sampled the Pope at Yankee Stadium when Cassavetes is talking about when she's
It's so
pregnant,
great.
and they
Yeah.
made a whole song just with that sample, which is wild. Yeah, that's some say it's a haunted movie. You know,
And the
uh,
novel too is phenomenal. If ever any people haven't read Ira Levin's novels, he did that one, The Boys from Brazil,
those ones are
Sliver, which was made into a movie in the 90s. His writing style is so pared down, it's
mhm.
almost like a film treatment, which makes it all scarier.
Yes, definitely. Okay, recommend a song.
Oh, it's like I've never heard a song in my life. Uh, Megan the Stallion, Money Good. I love that song.
Recommend a book.
I'm reading Louise Erdrich's The Sentence, which is so delightful. And it's like you could speed through it to some degree, but it's also every little moment is so rich and evocative.
Okay, great. Recommend a meal.
A meal, me.
Good answer. That's a very good answer. All right. You were talking about connection before, and
Yeah.
Sunshine says, I didn't realize this way of connecting was missing in my marriage for 20 years. As I ended that, my friends helped me to develop this kind of connection.
That's so great.
And stuff like that. So connecting. So how, besides the internet and or just calling PEPLove, how can kinky people stick together? Because like I said, I feel personally like we're under attack in many ways, subtly, and and sometimes not so subtly. So I believe kinky people are like a family. And we kind of stick. We do that stick throughout the years, even if we don't talk. You come and you're like, oh, you're one of us. You know what I mean? How can people help each other? You're helping each other. You're bringing people together. So people who aren't you or aren't in your neighborhood or your area, how can we keep it going?
I feel like that's such a challenging question to answer. I did a lot of kink activism for many years. I stopped doing it about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm barely stepping my toes into doing tiny amounts of it again, in large part because someone who was a mentor to me and a dear, dear friend passed away a few weeks ago. And I'm going to be holding a celebration of life for him in the studio that I own. And it's been an intense time for me to think about, do I want to do this work again? My friend who died, he was the head of Sandia Leather in the 80s here in New Mexico. And Sandia Leather was the first leather club to have a title for women. Even in the 80s, a lot of leather clubs didn't let women in. They were for men only, and certainly women didn't carry titles and these bars, leather bars. And so he was so formative in changing things, and he was a person who did it with such quiet, gentle mastery of the situation and determination to do what was right regardless of how things have been done before. This is a gay man in the 80s going, women are coming, and we're not going to pretend that women should not be included in the work that we do. So I look at that and I think, what kind of work do I want to do next? And I also look at why so many kink communities fall apart. And I don't know that we're all really a family. I don't know
Well,
that this is enough to bind us. What I would hope is the piece that can bind us is the actual firm belief in bodily autonomy. And that's a thing that kinky people do not share. Kinky people are not necessarily pro-abortion. Kinky people are not necessarily pro you can do what you want with your own body. And in that regard, I don't know that we're going to be able to band together. And I don't know that a lot of subcultures defined by what one wants to do with one's body or sexuality or relationships are going to be able to band together in those ways unless we agree on some fundamental principles of what should not be regulated or legislated.
Very good point. Very, very, very good point. Oh, we have
I know that's
standards.
not sexy, but that's the real
Hey,
that's the real answer.
so usually, right? Usually I do rapid fire recommend. No. Usually I do word association game. You played it many times. We don't have to play it again. You know, I say a word like chastity, and they say lock or whatever. We're gonna do it different. This is a very special episode of Your Kinky Friends.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say a pep love lady. You say the very first word or phrase that comes into your head. There's no wrong answer.
It's gonna be fun.
This is the very that has to be from the heart and very right off the top of your head. Okay. Improv.
I did my acting teachers proud. I did not prep. I'm
yes.
totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, yes, and where you get.
That's right.
So go with it. All right. Giselle T.
Power.
Yeah, that's a good one. Amy Mercury.
Playful.
Reba.
Otherworldly.
Vivian.
Delightful.
Justice.
Intense.
Christina Dark.
Friendly.
Miss Quinn.
Devious.
Alex Moore.
Kind.
Nina Rose.
Bestie.
And if someone were going to ask you to describe the first thing that comes into your mind when it comes to Sera Miles, what do you think they think? What do you think they think of? What would you like them to think? What would you like them to think of?
I want people to think that I am always trying to be as kind and genuine as possible. Because I think I am, and I only, I hate when I'm not. But really, at the end of the day, I would want people to know me as somebody that is trustworthy and going to be authentic, even if it's not the happiest, sexiest thing to say.
You know what? That's the way I feel too. And that's why I feel you come across. And that's one of the many reasons I love you. And you were talking about a friend of ours, and you used the word power. This is a very powerful woman with a very powerful message.
Hi, Sera. It's Giselle. I just wanted to say congratulations on a much needed and well-deserved retirement. So I know a lot of people want to know how Sera Miles and meeting Sera Miles impacted my life. Let me say it has been nothing but amazing and positive. Prior to meeting Sera, I was really looking for something that, I don't know, just really suited my personality and me as a whole. And meeting Sera, I was able to step into working for PEP, which honestly, I can never sing this company's praises enough. I love each and every one of the ladies that I work with, and I feel really, really blessed to be able to say that. This is a privilege to be here. It is a privilege to walk and work amongst these goddesses that I get to interact with every day. Prior to that, I was always working in industries that were very male driven, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Giselle loves the boys, but at the end of the day, there is something about this beautiful sisterhood of PEP that I am so privileged to be a part of. And I'm gonna get teary-eyed, but thank you so much. Thank you so much, because it really has been a ride. It's been tremendous experience, and I am so happy and so privileged to have had you be a part of my life and this journey. And I know that the journey isn't over for you and I know that your clients are going to miss you tremendously. And I promise that as you are handing down the torch, I promise you that I will do my best to maintain your legacy, because you've built a legacy here. And I promised myself I wasn't going to cry, and I am, and I'm sorry for that, but honestly, I just have so much love for you and so much excitement, because I know this isn't goodbye for you and I, but like I said, there's just been so much going on, and I know this is going to be an amazing journey for you, this retirement. I wish you nothing but the best. You really have made a difference, obviously, not just to me and the other PEP ladies, but to the people that you speak with every day, your clients. I hear nothing but praise. They have nothing but love for you, and everyone is behind you 110%. I am looking forward to knowing and seeing more of what's going to happen with Sera Miles in the next chapter. You are an amazing mentor and definitely have been perhaps one of the best experiences I've had in my life, and I just can't thank you enough. This simple, video, there just aren't words, and so it's really hard to just try and take all of that information and compact it into one thing. I am looking forward to working with you and PEP in the future, of course. And again, it's going to be weird not having you answering the phones, but you deserve it. You deserve it. I am so happy for you. I know that you've worked a long time to build this and take PEP from where it was into the future, and it looks really bright from sitting here, and I feel so privileged to be on this journey with you. And I'm just starting to gush now and ramble, so I should probably cut myself off, but again, I just can't say thank you enough. And lastly, just, you are amazing. You are amazing. If anybody wanted to know if there's any celestial beings that have ever fallen to earth, it would be Sera Miles. You are truly a goddess, and it is truly, truly a privilege to be able to fly just even for a minute in your orbit. So I'm getting teary again, so I'm gonna cut it off. But lastly, I have nothing but love for you, and I cannot wait to see where the future takes you and PEP. And I know that for me, it's not a goodbye, but it is a retirement from doing calls, and you deserve it. You deserve it. All hell, we bow down to the queen. You deserve it. So congratulations again on a much needed, much deserved, much anticipated, and just wanted retirement. And we're gonna blow it up. Let's make it amazing.
Wow.
Sera Miles, thank
Holy
you
shit.
very, very, very much. You are, seriously, you are a force, a magnificent force, and just, I am thankful. And I want to say my thanks. I was sick. I would mess up, fuck up my shows all crazy, all guerrilla style. It's always falling apart, just like my life. But you know what? People like you and the ladies at PEP, just being a kinky friend, seriously, just that as the basic of it. Forget about everything else involved, but just the goal, the core of it, just being a kinky friend is an amazing, magnificent, beautiful experience. And thank you for being in my life, and thank you for being in everyone's life here. You will sorely be missed. And the fact that you're still involved and that you're still running the company, and it's going to be very interesting to find out what's next. So much that you were talking about how you love metal. Guess what I found? I found chains. I found just listen. I found custom made chastity device.
Nice.
See, you're an inspiration, Sarah. So
That's hot. That's hot.
with
Thank
all
you
of this,
so much for putting all that together. I know that took coordinating and back and forth, and I am floored. And I am not easy to make blush or, I cry. I'm a crier, but like thank you so much. Like I am touched and surprised and honored. And our relationship over these many years has been such a fortuitous one for me, for Pep, back and forth, symbiotic, and it will continue to be.
of course. So you started this journey. Where to now? First of all, what are you going to do as soon as the interview's done? And second, where's this road going to take you? Where do you want this journey to take you?
Well, as soon as this interview is done, I'm going to take off these clothes and this makeup.
Well, I'm gonna take myself because I want to see. I want the world to see. I'm gonna come right back on the screen. But I want the world to see how beautiful you are. Okay.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of, this as much as I
But-
used to, but it's fun. Like no shade. I enjoy dolling it up.
Stan Vladimir. Before we answer the question, Stan Vladimir. Wait, I think I found what superpower should be. She should have the powers of Magneto, literally attaching a chastity device to building up to scratch just by thinking. Imagine
I
what
like
you
that.
could do, Sarah. You just walk around. Someone cuts you off in the car or something like that. You just go boom. What the fuck? The guy's a chastity device. You hold the case, so you could do anything. Never cut you off in traffic again.
Dig it.
So what is next? You're taking this journey, this road. You're retiring from this. What you're going to take off your clothes after this interview, but in the future, where do you want to go? Will there be knives and metal?
Oh, there's definitely knives and metal. Definitely be sharps and cutting and blood for sure. Yeah. I mean,
There
I'm
will be blood.
excited. Yeah, there will be blood. I love that movie for giving
Yeah,
me Rex.
I'll drink your milkshake.
So good. So good. So
Okay.
some of I have a list of things I want to do upon retirement, and some of it's
Let's
stuff
hear it.
like I need glasses. I had LASIK 20 years ago, and stuff like go get an eye exam, and stuff like get my gallbladder checked. I have a friend who died of gallbladder cancer a few years ago, so it's stuff like that that's on the list. But it's also stuff like read all the works of Virginia Woolf.
Oh,
Read
yeah.
Proust. I've never read Proust.
Oh.
So there's a lot that I want to read. I want to I was at the bookstore yesterday and I thought, oh my God, when I retire, I can actually just take like 2 hours here. Because there's a degree doing phone sex, doing this kind of work where any minute you're not engaged in it, is time you're taking away from it. And I'm very balanced about it these days. It takes a lot of years to get balanced about it, but I'm still aware, right? So I was like, oh my God, in a month I could come here and there would be no like, oh, what if I'm missing a call? So taking my time is
Yeah.
something I really, really want to do. I love to take road trips. My partner does as well. I'm lucky in that regard. I want to spend more time with some close friends that I haven't spent as much time with as work has been so busy with my retirement. And then work wise, I love, and I want to put this out there for people if they want it. I love working with small groups of people, like your polycule, you and your friends want to come learn about other ways to negotiate power dynamics, or you've got like 5 pressing questions about conflicts you're having. I love to work with people in that regard. And my real vision of the kind of person to person work I'll be doing is both one-on-one relationship coaching, but even more so working with groups of like 3 to 7 people I think I cut off at 6 actually. 7 becomes a workshop, but 3 to 6 people saying, what's the problem and how can I help you have a better relationship with each other and yourselves?
Yeah. That's wonderful. And on that note, I think that all right, now you did mention road trips.
Yeah, I love road trips.
So first of all, on a road trip, music plays an important role. Do you have a playlist? Do you have certain
Well,
songs?
Nina Rose of Pep and I, we make playlists like it's our job. We have many playlists. In fact, Nina made what are those called? A link tree where you can
Oh yeah.
see all of our playlists.
Send that to me, please. I'd love to see
I
that.
will. I will. We made some seasonal ones with another dear friend of ours. Right now, we're working on a best of that. And we make a series we call Soft Corners Cottage. And so there are 4 Soft Corners Cottage right now. And they take you on journeys of love. Because what do I really care? I mean, love is really what I'm, into.
Love
So
really
our
is.
love, I mean, these playlists add up to like 40 hours of music, just the Soft Corners alone. If you're looking to jazz up for the day, we have a playlist called New Again. I could go on. But we are on Spotify all the time. And if you were to check, like if somebody were to steal my device, my personal device, and want to look at my messages, they'd be like, all this bitch talks about is what song to put after what song. This is annoying. This is boring. But
I
I
do that.
love curating a playlist. It's like making a
Yes,
book. It's
it's
like
great. No,
making a book of poems.
there is an like a character arc to it. There's the opening track. There's the second track, which you
Yes.
want to hit hard, but it doesn't want to take the effect of the opening track either. There's the third track, which usually is a slower song, the kind of a mellow song. Fourth track brings it back up. And then remember when there were tapes? There was the last song on the first side has to be a closer, but not be the whole closer for the tape.
It's a semicolon song.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was ill with the pause button. So I would, between each song, I would put little things inside, little hidden tracks. And even after like the song on the side, I'd put like little hidden songs and stuff that I wouldn't put down on the playlist. So
I
yes,
love this.
there's definitely an art to all of that. So just like life, on your journey, you have your playlist and you're off. I wish you safe travels, and mentally, emotionally, physically, wherever your road takes you. Sarah Miles, thank you so much for being in my life. Thank you so much for being in it. You obviously, I think I proved my point that you are a good force in the world, in the kink community, and in general, and we love you and appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicholas Tanek, and for all the work that you do, and for making today extra fucking special, like unforgettably inimitable,
We
memorable.
thank you, Sarah Miles. Thank you very much. And on that note, how can we get in touch with you? How can we get in touch with the ladies of PEP? How can we help keep the fire burning, keep the light shining? How can we do that?
Our URL, easy, PEPLove, PEPLove.com. We have our Logos newsletter. I'm Sarah Miles. I like to say it. I'm Sarah Miles everywhere. So if you want to find me on the Twitter, on the Insta, if I were to make a new account somewhere on the Facebook, on the FetLife, I'm always Sarah Miles, or sometimes Sarah Miles XO. Easy to find, easy to follow. Somebody once said, and I really like this, a good leader is somebody who makes it easy to follow them. And I think that I'm easy to find, easy to contact, easy to relate to. I believe in niceties and being friendly and all that jazz.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful. And with that being said, Your Kinky Friends, go to yourkinkyfriends.com. FetLife, Your Kinky Friends. We have Patreon. Stay tuned for Good at Being Bad, or also known as Gab, with my co-host Nico Noir, and a whole bunch of kinky people are involved. That's coming soon. Don't worry about that. And Twitter, Nicholas Tanek or Friends Kinky. But definitely FetLife, Instagram, Friends Kinky. Just talk about Your Kinky Friends, Nicholas Tanek. Buy my books. I wrote 3 books. I'm very proud of them. And hopefully you won't feel alone. Hopefully you will connect with them. But the first thing all of you should do is go to PEPLove.com, find a lady, and connect with them. Connect with that person. They're good people. They're wonderful, wonderful people. You just watch them all, basically. Yes, they're all wonderful. They're all unique, and they're all there because of this woman, Sarah Miles. Sarah, thank you. With that note, remember the cardinal rule, everybody. Be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Take care.